Hi guys, Victoria here for Tonic Studios, and today I am bringing you a long-awaited memory book, and I know that is going to please an awful lot of you because we haven't had one for a while. This memory book is a really good size. It goes all the way to this big daddy here, and then it goes down to these tiny little ones, so you can make mini books as well. Now I've been asked so many times over the years, Vicky, can you please do a tutorial? Can you please do a tutorial? As I normally just do a show and tell. Now I'm not actually going to put a book together as such, but I am going to do a few page layouts for you. So there are a lot of locks in this set and straps and buckles and whatnot, and I think probably looking at it, it's like, blimey, what do they do, where do they go, and how do they work? So Mark Head Designer, who has designed this die set, has really thought out the box with how these locks can work, and they are very clever. So I just thought I would come on and do a few page layouts for you, explain what some of these dies do, and I will have a description attached to this video, and there will be an affiliate link there if anybody would like to purchase this die set through me, through Tonic. There's no extra charge for purchasing through me, but I do make a small commission, which helps bring you these tutorials. So, all the housework being done, there will be some paper pads, brand new paper pads. Now, I can't show you in detail the paper pads because I have been chopping into some papers, so I haven't got all the papers here to show you. But it's this one here. And I have to say, it's absolutely stunning. As you can see there, you're going to get 18 sheets in the 12 by 12. And they are double-sided, they're linden free, and they are beautiful. 200 GSM, so a really good weight, and as you know by Tonic by now, all their lovely papers. So it does come in an 8x8 as all the other collections. As again, I've chopped into bits and pieces, so I can't really show you, but you will be able to see these direct from Tonic. Now, also, there will be some rub-ons. Now, I've been chomping away at some of them, so I've just got a couple here to show you. And very pretty floral, Rome, Paris. Just really lovely sentiment rub-ons, and they're so easy to use. I've used rub-ons in the past many years ago, and blimey, you were there with a lollipop stick rubbing like mad and bits and pieces would be missing. These are such good quality, they transfer effortlessly, and if you've tried our rub-ons before, you will know that I'm telling you the truth there. Not that you doubt me, but you know, there are new viewers all the time, and you know, if you've used rub-ons from years and years ago and didn't have much luck, you kind of, oh gosh, rub-ons. But these are absolutely stunning. So that being done, that being said, shall we go through some of these dies? So, as I said before, you have this really long die here. Now, Vicky hasn't measured it, so she has not got a Scooby-Doo. So cutting edge to... It's just shy of 11 inches in length, so that is the largest die. And then obviously width, it's 6. So just slightly under 11 by 6. So that is the largest die in the set. And then obviously you've got this tiny one, which is just, I'd say about 5 1/4 square. So that just shows you how big and how small you can go. So here we go. Here you have corners. Now these actually cut in to the cardstock a little pattern here. Now you can either use that to two advantages, i.e. a pocket like that, or it can hold on to tags and stuff like that. Okay, so there's two different ways you could use that corner. There are two different corners. There's the round one, and then there's the more squarer version there. And again, use the same way. It can hook at the back because you've got glue tabs, or you can put it into that tab there. So that's that. So you've got two of those. Then you have a buckle, and I will show you how that works later on with using this die here as your strap. Okay, so I'll bring this one forward. We haven't put this together, but this is how the strap would work. It threads through the buckle and pulls back down on itself, and then you have these fancy little threaders, and I seem to have lost one along the way. It's here somewhere because I saw it earlier. No, let me have a look. There it is. I knew I had it. So you have this die here, and you can see these two dies here, and then they score back on themselves, and they leave you like a little gap, and this then threads through and holds that down. Okay, so I'll show you how that goes together later, but you can see the one at the top I've already added there. And again, it's the same. It threads in underneath, over and back, and then that helps you add either a mini page, or like I've done here, I've added some little postcards, and they just help that stay in place. And what you would do is you will glue it on the back of your page before you stick it to the next page, and then all this will be hidden. Okay, so that's one way of using that buckle. Key, I want to show you the key, so hang on. A lot of housework here today, but here we go. So here you have this gorgeous ornate key. Okay, and I've just stuck 3 together to make it more like chipboard. Okay, so we've done that. Then we have this die, and this die, and this die. Okay, and this die is this one here, and basically it has little score lines, and you just want to score it so it goes a mountain, and a valley, and then that will glue on to this piece here to make it more rigid. Okay, and this is where your key will slot in through there. All right, so all will become apparent when we add this to our book, but that is one part of the lock. The other part of the lock is this die here. Okay, and there's a decorative panel for it. So, oh, and I must add, that is a decorative panel for the top here, just so that you can match it in with your key. So basically that long panel folds in on itself. So what you will do is you will make sure you've got this kind of square cube, and then this piece will adhere to this piece here with glue, and you will end up with a piece like that. See, you've got room there for your key to go through. So when they're stuck to your page, this will go through 1, and it will go through 2, and this will be attached to underneath your page, so it will hold everything flat on the page. But again, I'll show you how that works, but I just want to go through each piece so that you can see then how it works. This piece here is a long strap. Now it has no cutting edge here at the end, so it's open, so you can elongate this as long as you wish. Okay, and then you have a decorative one there that you can add with your papers or your specialty cardstock, just as a decorative trim. Along with that, you have this die here, which will put a long slit into your page. So I will show you here. We've stuck 2 pages together, so it's like chipboard. and we've lined the other side. We've already added the paper as well, so we've cut through all of it. You can cut through each layer individually, you just have to line it up. And then this is that strap, okay, so it's left me with a glue tab. And then I've got the decorative piece of paper here to go on top, and that would then slot in. Obviously this would be attached to your spine, that would slot in, and then this would hook round the end of your page before you stick your two pages together, and then it would just pull out to release the page. Okay, so that's what that strip and that's for. You can make waterfall cards with these smaller dies as well. So you would just score at the glue tab here, and then you would line them up as they come down, so that you can make your own waterfall cards. You've got another die here that actually covers the slit that you've put into your page. So this would go here and cover up all that workings and just make it a neater finish. So that's what that die is for. Okay. We've got a smaller slit there as well if you wanted to put this in through a page. Then we have this die, okay, and it has two little score lines there. Okay, so I just want to show you this. So it cuts this out, and then you're going to score it so it's like a half circle. All right, so you need two of those like that. And then you see these circles here. You'll need those circles because then you're going to adhere one on one side, one on the other side. Yeah, ooh, it pings off, there we go. So it sticks on there like that, and then you're going to put another circle on top of that, so that you end up, so yeah, that goes on top, so you end up with a circle like this, and you can see it's joined there in the middle. Yeah, then I have cut 2 layers for this key, and that key will glue onto that circle like that. And that is going to be the mechanism to slide between the 2 slots I've put on my page. So I want to show you how this is done. Okay, so you have the page for your book. I've then lined it with a floral paper. I've done the same on the left hand side. Then I've decided that I am going to have the left side over the right hand side. And this has then formed a glue tab, and I've not put the holes in like I have on this side. Alright. So when they are lined up, I'll just remove these papers so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. When this one goes over this one here, your key, bearing in mind the key will be attached to that, this slots down, okay, like that. Imagine your keys there, and that locks your 2 pages together, okay, so they can be slid right down. And I will attach the key afterwards. I just want to just basically show you how each little piece works as a lock, okay. So then what have we got left? We've got this die here. And you've seen these before. We've had one of these in a previous set. And basically it is 2 pieces stuck together with a magnet in the middle. I have a magnet underneath my page here, and it grabs it. So that bit will glue down to the page, and then this will lift up to lift the page up. Okay, so that's how that works. You could add another magnet under the paper here and have both on a magnet, and you lift off and the page comes away, but I'm just going to adhere that on one side and it just lifts. Okay, so that's what that die is. And have I gone through them all? This heart works just similar to the key, but it's a heart, and you put two of them back together and that slides up and down the slider as well. So that's how that one works. These go together to thread ribbon through so they can be a closure as well. This is what puts the little cuts in along your spine, and you can attach them with ribbon, small clips, lace, whatever you want to thread through there to hold the book together. Now here I've just cut 4 mini pages, made them like chipboard, and then I've put these little, they're like a paper clip, like a safety pin I guess, but they're like I think you've probably seen them. I've got a pack here with multiple colours in, and they're like a safety pin, just from Amazon, but they're a good way of adding a decorative layer to something or holding something together. So that's what I've done for that little book, just to show you. But again, I'm not going to be putting the book together because it takes a while to lace all the spine up, but I will be putting the pages together for you. So I think that is everything there that I need to show you and go through. Each page does have a layer. Now, if you would like a further layer, I would just draw inside this line here with a pencil and then free cut with either on a paper trimmer or with a pair of scissors. And it just gives you that extra layer if you want an extra layer. And then these little dies obviously are the little bits that hold the strap up. So I'm going to put this to one side because you're probably fed up with me waffling on by now. But I think that's all the dies covered there. So we'll put that to one side and then we'll put a page together, shall we? So what shall we do first? Oh, decisions. Right, I think we'll put this one together first. All right. Because we've already done a lot of the groundwork and the cutting. So I just wanted to show you how it went together. All right. So as you'll see from this one, you know, a lot of the work I have done already. So I'm going to glue this to the book base. All right. When Vicky's glue decides to work, we'll go for the new bottle. The other one's getting a little bit empty. Now I just use a slither of wet adhesive. Just there we go. And then that is going on there like so. All right. And then I'm going to show you how that goes together, aren't I? Right, so this is your little, the lock for the strap. So this will come in, and then I will add some adhesive and then bring the other one in. Now if you want to use a pair of tweezers at this point, you can, and I usually do. But also if you've got little pegs, use little pegs. So I'm just going to hold that for a second, let it stick together. Mirror, just take, this is a satin, so it takes a little while to grab, but it will grab with wet adhesive. So I'll just pinch that just for a few seconds, and then I'll leave that to dry a minute. Now obviously you need to work out where you want to put a score line on your strap, depending on what you're putting on your page. I'm just going to put that to one side and hope that that sticks down. So let me take this out and show you. So there we go. Now what I've done is I have glued two together. Now be very careful with satin because it does crease a little bit. Not probably the best card to use for the buckle if I'm truly honest, because as you can see I've got a little crease in there, but we've cut it now, so we'll go with it. So I just wanted to make sure there was enough there for that buckle mechanism to hold it back. and then I've put a score line in. So I cut 2 of these and glued them back to back to make them a little bit more rigid and a little bit more hard wearing. So basically you want to scoop through the bottom one and come back out through the middle one, and then pull that back. Okay, and then with your little buckle, I'll slide it on now. It probably come unglued because I've not left it long enough. That then will hold that buckle in place, and then I would glue this in the middle before I backed it onto another page, because then it will hide your glue tabs. Okay, so the same with this one. I'm going to go down and then up through the middle one. So I'm just going to take that back out. There we go. And bring that back down and pull it back up. And see how that holds it beautifully in place. So then I would glue that on there, that on there, and then that is going to hold all my postcards in place. So I'm just going to tip it over, add the wet adhesive. Some of you will be very familiar with adding straps and buckles and things to your memory books before, but really I'm putting this together for people that want to have a go, that have never had a go and not quite sure how to go about it, or those that, you know, need a little bit of inspiration for page layouts maybe. So there we go. So they're held in place now. And then this is then ready to add to another page. So we would back that onto another page and hide all this. Okay. So if I pick the next page, what shall we have the next page as? Oh, Vicky, can't make my mind up. Shall we have this one? I think we might have this one, a pocket. Okay. So let's move all these bits and pieces. I've got that many bits and pieces, I think I've confused myself. So I'm just backing this one with a white layer. All right. So again, we've got that. And then before I add anything else to this page, I'm going to stick it to the other page. All right. And I do this because it just makes the pages a little bit more rigid, like chipboard. So those 2 pages then would be glued together, and it hides all your workings then. Okay, so I'm just going to add adhesive all around there, down that spine, and then around the edge. There we go. And a little bit for good luck in the middle, and then line that up. There we go. And then press down on there. Give this an extra little pinch where you've got your strap. Now if you've got a bone folder, you can go along with your bone folder and just smidge those layers down. Okay. Then you've got something firm to work on there. So again, just hold those bits down there where your straps are, because it's a little bit bulky. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Okay. So we just hold those in place. There we go. So we're now working on this other side. So this one we're having as a pocket, so we're just going to add that down at the bottom there. So just add in a little bit more bulk, and then we just want to glue just at those outer edges and across the bottom there. Okay. And then down that goes. and you've just cut a full one, and you've just cut it down to whatever depth that you want for your pocket there. Okay, and then again a little bit of offcut of paper, and I've just put the die on the bottom piece just to utilise all your papers, all your scraps, because our pattern paper is very precious to us. And then that will then go down there as a decorative piece. And just wipe any excess glue that you may have, as Vicky has. There we go, gung-ho there. And then when that has dried, we're going to add some bits and pieces. So we can add these little postcards now, because they're not going to add too much depth there. So add these beautiful foiled postcards to each side. All right, and then we're going to do a little pocket here. So like I've just done before, I'm going to stick two pieces together to make them more chipboard. So glue around the edge, a little bit in the middle, and then line that one up with that one. There we go. Getting glue everywhere here today, Victoria. So I hope you're all well, and I hope you're all looking forward to this March Madness event with Tonic Studios. It's something that we all look forward to every single year. That and birthday week and cyber week, it's really fun for the DT because we get to play with so many different things. And gosh, you're in for a treat as always. So I'm adding this white layer to one side. And this is somewhere where you can add a photo, journaling, up to you, completely up to you. That way. There we go. That on one side, and then this on the other side. There's so many pattern papers to choose from. These papers, you'll be stuck for choice. But I do like a floral. So pretty. I think I'll have it that way. Okay. Now again, this could have somewhere for a photo, could have something else stuck on the front of it here, but we are just going to add this. Now I would lace ribbon through there and then add this to the page. Okay, so that is your page there, and then we've just put some mounts onto these beautiful postcards, and then they're gorgeously foiled as well, beautiful gold foiling there. So I would just add these just like so, and then there'll be room there for a photo on the back, and then we just add these under the strap, and the strap holds them in place. So there is one page for your book. Okay, so we'll put that to one side. I've also done this little book, as I said before. I've cut 4 and glued them together, and I've just attached them with those little pins, and we've got a decorative front on this one here, so I'll add some glue to that. Now then, which way are we going? We're going that way. Yeah, that way. There we go. And then on the inside we'll have room for 2 photographs. Obviously they look better showing you with photographs in, but obviously copyright and whatnot, we have to be very careful adding photographs without somebody's permission, etc. So if you can just imagine there being a photograph here. And then line that side. And then we'll add a decorative paper to the back. This then could be added in between those pages, just for a little feature there. So we have this page, and then we can just keep adding and adding. So that's another little page. So we're going to go next to this page here. Okay. Ooh, Vicky's knocking everything over. Right. So. Yeah. So I've got some beautiful decorative paper there. So I think that was the one I had picked. I think, yep. So we're going to add this like we did before. I didn't know where to stop with this. I was been prepping it last night, and I thought, oh, I was only supposed to be doing a page layout, and before I knew it, I'd got like a fair few pages, and I thought, oh crumbs, you better stop now, Vicky, before you get a whole book made. But there we go. So that is the base then of that page. Here we have 2 pages stuck together, and we've put that slit in that I showed you earlier. So now I'm going to add the decorative layer to that, just to hide the workings. So again, wet adhesive, be your best friend. And even if I do use red liner, I will always add a little bit of wet adhesive with it as well. Okay, just to make sure it's got that longevity. So then I want a finishing piece on the other side as well. Make sure both sides are neat. So there we go. And then add that one. So how many of you have been hoping and praying for a memory book? I know we haven't had one for some time. So yeah, I think a fair few of you have been waiting for this one. So I hope you're all going to enjoy it. I've had some great fun. I have made a full book, by the way, which I will add the video to my channel. It is a walkthrough as always, but it just shows you some layouts, some page layouts. But I have been asked quite a lot to do page layouts or do a book, and so here we are. We'll have to see what the response to this video is going to be. If it doesn't get much of a response, then obviously I'll just go back to doing a walkthrough to some music. But if this video is popular and you want to see more videos like this, then please drop me a comment so I know you are there and you are interested in more videos like this. And then we'll see what we can do. So I've got another couple of these pins, and I've just decided to throw one halfway across the craft room, and I've no idea where it's gone. Oh well, we'll look for that one later. Probably never to be found again in the depths of my craft room. And then just so that we have something pinned to the page. Oh no, I'm not going to do that, sorry. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to glue it to the back page. Let me do that first. So we want to glue this to another page. But first of all, I want to put this around here. So let's see if this all lines up. So that is going to go, obviously, to that spine there with lace. And this is going to hook in through that hole there. Let's take that decorative layer off. And this just helps you line everything up. So basically I'm going in around about there, give or take. Okay. So that said, we will glue that on now. So we roughly know where that's going to go, because we want to hide all these little bits of workings. We don't want to see little bits of strap. We want it to be as neat as possible. Okay, so now I am free to glue that one to that one. Okay, so again, add in the wet adhesive. There we go. A little bit in the middle for good luck. And then down he goes. And then the bone folder. And I tend to work like this even if I have a book with a spine. I will work on the matten layer. I will actually add the page to the book, but I work on the matten layer as a rule, and then I add those all to the pages when I'm done, just to be sure, because I have a habit of changing my mind. I'm not sure whether you're like me, but you know, I set off with the best of intentions, and then as I'm going, no, something else would be better there. And when it's all stuck in, it's too late then, isn't it? So we're just going to glue that onto there. Okay. And then, like I said before, I'm going to hook these in just temporarily. Okay. So I'm just going to put one hook in here and one hook in here. This is good if you want to lace it up at the end, and it puts everything in the place where you want it to be, ready for lacing, because lacing does take a little while, but it does look absolutely stunning when it's done. But if you want to put like little tiny thin bull clips in, not my bull clips, what they called, the little rings, you know, then you could do that as well. So here I am having, let's move that strap out of the way. I am having a layer here. Okay, so I need to make sure that that layer is well and truly under there. So let's add some adhesive again. There we go. And we're going to have that right up to the edge there. So that should be in place. There we go. So it can't be seen from the outside. Okay. And then this is where the waterfall comes in. So this is that little square for a tiny little book if you wanted to do a mini book, which I think, do you know what, we could start a trend, little mini books. That might be cool, see what we can actually fit on a page. So I've cut several of these out. Okay, and this one is going to have a decorative panel on the front and a white panel on the back, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that now. That way, Victoria. And then white layer underneath, so this could have lots of different journaling and dates for each photo. What I would tend to do with a waterfall card is add little pictures, not to the top one, I'd have that as a decorative one, and then I'd have a photo on here, I'd have journaling on the back. So we want to add wet adhesive to this first one, and I'm going to have the first one around about there. Now when you work that out, you've got to make sure you've got enough room there for your key, okay, because this is where your key is going to come in. So I'm quite happy with that around about there. Okay, so then just hold that tab till you know it's grabbed. All right, and then we're just going to add the next one to just underneath where it meets that one there. Okay, and we're just going to go along there until we've added them all. So excuse if I get the heading. There we go. And then the next one. sure that that is straight, because we don't want a squiffy waterfall card, do we? There we go. And then we've got another 2 more to go, so we'll add that one there. Just make sure you're level. I think I've cut that on the squiffy, so yeah, I've cut that on the squiff, so make sure when you cut yours and trim them that you've trimmed them straight. I think Vicky's had a wonky donkey glasses on, I think, there. And then the last one, sometimes I work really late into the night, and sometimes thinking things can be just slightly off kilter. Right, there we go. So there is your waterfall to have your journaling and your photos. Okay, so the strap is going to then come in over that and hold that down. Okay, so when this comes back in, obviously this is going to be more fastened in with lace, and then this would come down and go straight into that page and hold that down. Okay, but to hold that page down a little bit further, I'm going to attach, let's move this out of the way, I'll leave that one in there. I'm going to attach this to the page down here. Okay, so line the spine back up, add glue where you want that to sit, so work out where you want your key to go. Now I want my key out a little bit in that middle, okay, between the two. And yes, this strap will go over the top, but then when you open it, you've got that lovely feature of a key there. Okay, I'm just showing you different options on just a few pages, but obviously you can add a waterfall to another page. You know, it doesn't have to be the same page as this one. So like I did before, I'm just holding that down. I'm going to make sure that that marries up with the spine, and then I'm going to bring that page down. Okay, so it all lines up, because I will lace this all together later. So we're just going to hold that for a little while, because it's satin card, it does take a little bit longer to dry with the adhesive. But you could just have a photo mount on that side. You could, or you could just leave it plain. You didn't have to add a waterfall card to that side. But I just wanted to show you how to make a waterfall card just with the layering dice from the set. So then that would just glue in place then. So we add adhesive to this square here. Thread that key back through. Make sure it's all lined up, as we said earlier. So put that key in the bottom one, and then you will know where to line up this other one. Now you could line them so they were lined up together and there wasn't a gap, but I think I'm quite happy with it going there. So I'll just hold that a moment. And because obviously you've lined everything, it all lines up there. So that page now is locked down. It's not going to open, okay? So you don't have to add this strip, but I've added the strip because I want to hold the waterfall card down, okay? So then that would just bend in there and it would go down there. So there's another page. Now you can add obviously your rub-ons and whatnot to your pages as well. That is up to you. So then we're going to flip this over, okay, and we're going to line this other back page. So are we going to, which side are we going to use? I think we're going to use that side. Okay, so, and that's that beautiful foiling, but we're not going to use that piece today. So we're just going to line this back piece. So think about what pieces you need to tuck under your pages to hide them when you're setting out your book. And then it just leaves everything a really neat finish. Okay, so just put that up there out of the way for now. And I'm going to stick these two pieces together. So as you can see, this is part of a smaller book, or a half a page, and then I've cut the glue tab off and I'm going to glue one to the other there. Okay, so just line one up against the other one and then hold that down. Get the bone folder, there we go. And then as you can see, I've added a magnet here. I've glued two of these together. Now they're glued flat together and there's a magnet in between those. So just make sure it's the right way round. Okay, so we're going to have a decorative panel on here. And that will go on there. Now we don't want anything on the back here because this is going to be glued onto the page. So we want to line the inside to cover that glue tab. Again, hiding all the workings. So down we go with that one. This would make a nice page with some history of the occasion, whether it was a party, an anniversary or what it was, and then a lovely photograph opposite. It's really important. I've said in the past when I've done videos for you that it's so important to have names, dates, because when they're handed down through the generations, my husband had some photographs in the loft after his mother passed and we had no idea who those people were, times, dates or anything. They were obviously family members, but we've no idea who they were. So it's sad, you know, when that happens. So if you can add some journaling to your books, I think it's really important. So again, just like you would if you were doing a scrapbook page, if you've ever done scrapbook pages, you know. So then we're going to add this to this half here. There we go. And then this is going to grab that magnet so you know exactly where that other half is to be glued. So we'll add adhesive to that half. And press that down till it's grabbed. And then we're going to add a little photo mount here with the corner. Alright. So then that's our second page. There we go. So here for this video I have actually used red liner, which as you know I'm not a lover, well not a lover, I don't use red liner very often. I do stick with wet adhesive, I think it's just got the longevity, but we're going to stick a few little drops there of the adhesive and work out roughly where you know you want that to be. So if that means that you put that in there to begin with, and then you know where you want to go, then that's fine. And then just hold that till you know it's grabbed a little bit. Now these could be tickets, or these could be all little bits and pieces that go inside these bits. But like I said before, you can either stick it in like that, or you can stick it in like that, or you could actually put that in there and you could have something else in that top part. So there is our other page. Okay, so for our next page, let's get this one, all these pieces cut. Not Not got long enough arms. So, isn't that a beautiful, beautiful paper? Honestly, so gorgeous. And you know something, I am not a butterfly person. Not many of you know this, but I don't like fairies, and I'm not a butterfly person. But just recently I've seen some beautiful butterfly images, and I fell in love with them. So there we go. Maybe Vicky's changing. So you never know. Add the adhesive there. Lay that one down. I can't wait to see you all when you see all the stuff coming for March Madness. So exciting. Right. So again, we have another one of these little books. We're just going to glue those back to back, so they're more like chipboard. And these kind of like separate your pages and add a little bit more interest as well, because you don't have to have these glued to your page. They can be loose. So there we go again. Just tie them into your spine with your ribbon. And then we're going to have this beautiful image on the front there. Okay. And then down there like so. And then on the reverse, we'll have a white panel for journaling or photos. And this is actually going to be, again, floated off that page. So I'll just get another little clip, just so that they clip together. So we'll stick with the same colours. There we go. We'll just put a couple of them in. So I want to stick that to the reverse. So let me do that now. This is more like chipboard, and this is going to be the last page. There we go. I could have gone absolutely bonkers and done another couple of pages because there was a couple more things, but you have got the walkthrough of my full book that will be here on my channel as well on launch. Okay, so now we've got that chipboardy feel going on, we can actually clip this together just whilst we're working on it. Alright. And we'll put one in the middle. I wouldn't know whether these actually would hold a full book together, these little clips, but they do certainly work whilst you're working on your book, just so that you can get your alignment. They're not necessary, it just makes it a little bit easier, that's all. So that goes on there like that, okay? So when you flip that, we're going to have this little postcard, and then we're going to have a little mount there. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down just as a decorative element like so, and then this little mount is going to go there. All right, and then here we've got the rounded corner. So just take the backing off there again. Okay, and just a couple of blobs of adhesive, and we'll do what we did before. We're going to slide that in so we know where we want it, and I do want it around about here. So as long as we can get that one in, that will be fine. And then I'm going to go for one in the top, which can be a little bit higher so that you can get the page out. If you wanted to lock a page in, this is where you could have a photo on it and it's there permanently locked in. Okay, so I'm going to put that one over there like so, and there would be a nice decorative place for a photo. Okay, and then that's going to come across there like that. I'm not actually going to lock that page down. So then we're going to turn that over and we're going to line this one with this beautiful, beautiful paper. There we go. Got enough glue there. And then we're going to add these pieces next. There we go. So let's move you out of the way. So we'll line the back of there. So you just line those up and mark them. So I'm just going to put the liner in the back. Just like that. And then we've got the front there. Line that one up. And obviously that is going to go through there with that little hook. And then line that one up. Now then, let's just take these little, I've gone hook happy, haven't I, before I've added that last one. So let's go through. Let's check which one we've got going where. Let's take them all off. Kind of a bit gung-ho there, haven't I? There we go. Right, so that's going that way. And then this is going that way. Okay, so we'll put those together now. It's just so that it's easier all clumped together. To show you the two pages together. And down we go. Like I said, you will lace yours with ribbon. You'll do all your pages and then lace them all. But I mean, these clips are great because you could have them all of those clips all the way down the side and then attach little tufts of ribbon as well if you wanted to. So let's just hook those in there. Okay, so then this one is going to go around here like this. Alright, but you would actually do this before you stuck your two pages together, which I've done, so don't do as I do. You want to add that before you actually add your decorative element. But what I can show you is that because you've got these two slits here, let's add the key. Let's add the key. And then add the key to the bottom, trying to get those slots upright in line with the key. Okay, and then just hold that till you know it's grabbed. I'm just going to get the tweezers. So what I'll do actually is I will glue that right onto the edge, I think. I did have other plans for that, but let's just pretend we've glued that side on. And then this will slide down between those two slots. So if we get one lined up, would be easier if Vicky had put the page in properly. Hang on. I am making this look way harder than it is, by the way, guys, because I've not stuck my page in properly. Let me just see, because I can't get my head in there. Hang on. And then the key just slides down between the two pages. So when you put your left side of your page in, make sure you do it before you glue the two pages together, and not do like I've done there. But you can see there how those pages then lock together with the key. It's just that glue tab needed to be between the two pages there, but then not to worry. I dare say I could actually glue that page down to the inside and then line it with another. In fact, shall we do that? We're going to do that. There's no wrong or right or whatever with crafting. It's whatever works, isn't it? It's whatever works. So I'm just going to hold that down. I can line the inside of that so you don't see the glue tab. It's no detrimental really. It's just me blabbing and not concentrating. So I just think that is an ingenious way of locking two pages together with that decorative key. And then you can add more decoration onto this front page. You could add another photo mount. You could add some of your decorative rub-ons here. It's completely up to you. And so that would be one page. This would be your other page. Then we have this page here with the waterfall, and then we have that one with the magnet. So imagine that one on there. And then we have this one with the pocket, and again this would have all nice fancy ribbon laced through, maybe a rub on here. And then you have your little postcards with your strap there. So there is another page. You would add a cover. You have a little book here that can be added to the middle of that spine. So you would just need a top layer there. And that would be a beautiful memory book. Now, I've showed you the lock and how the lock and everything and the key works. So I think my job here is done. What else did I want to show? I wanted to show you something else. I can't remember now what it was. No, it's left me. But like I said, there will be the beautiful papers available. There will be the rub-ons available. And this very clever book. And then imagine it all either rings or laced here with your ribbons. It would really finish it off. The one that I have finished, that I did a walkthrough for, you will see all that laced up with all the lace and everything, and really finished off with more pages, etc. But that's all I have for today, guys. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to have your company. Like I said before, if this is something that you would like to see more of, more page layouts or complete books put together, please let me know in the comments, because I don't know what you guys want if you don't tell me. Okay, so if I've got a rough idea of what you'd like to see more of, whether that's 3D, whether that's kits, whether it's books or whatever it is, or maybe just card layouts or shape cards, whatever it is, please leave me a comment, and then I'll know what you guys are after. So I hope you enjoy the March Madness event. I'm sure I'm going to be back with plenty more videos and content for you over that week. And thanks, guys, and I will catch you all very, very soon. Happy crafting!